You know, looking back, you do some very silly things as a tourist. It's probably because you're away from your own home ground. Your behavior pattern gets upset. Behavior pattern? Behavior doodle? It's long ago ceased to be a pattern. Well, take that time in Sweden when we all bought a windmill apiece. Yes, a windmill. A big windmill each. Ridiculous. I don't know how we came to do it. Well, I do really. I mean, there were these windmills. Very attractive. We'd seen them in Swedish front gardens. I suppose they're meant to frighten birds away. And so we bought one each, already packed up in thumping great cardboard boxes. The sort of boxes that American husbands on films are always bringing home to their wives. A lover. Surprise. It's a new cake mixer and a bunch of something. Well, that's the sort of boxes we've got. We've already got a couple of suitcases each, and now an angular, awkward cardboard box each. Well, we wish we'd never bought them. Not only that, but hotel reception clerks don't like letting us have rooms much. Well, it's funny, isn't it, for 4 men with luggage and 4 big cardboard boxes to turn up? I mean, what are they up to? I left mine quite by mistake on a chair in an hotel lounge. The porter came after me with it. Excuse me, sir, your parcel. Oh, yes, thank you. It's my windmill. Your what, sir? Windmill. Windmill? Windmill. Oh. And the other gentleman? Oh, yes, all windmills. All windmills. So, you see, they're an embarrassment and a nuisance. So we decide to break them down, take them apart. We get a screwdriver, and Tom Gillingham, Jack Leverett, and I unscrew and break our windmills down and tread them into our suitcases. But Tubby Foster refuses to break his down.
Well, if I break mine down, I'll never put it together again.
We tell him there's nothing worse on tour than an unbroken down windmill. And it's difficult now because we've given up our hired car. But he won't. He's still got his unbroken down windmill in its box when we arrive in Helsinki, Finland. Helsinki is known as the White City. Heaven knows why, because it's much the same colour as any other city, sort of grey and brown and sooty city colour. It's another vigorous, energetic northern capital. The sea comes right up to the town hall, and the giant cranes peck away at the ship's insides around the city centre. It's a strong, functional city with strong, functional architecture, and some of it's so strong and functional it's practically brutal. But it's a friendly city. Well, the Finns seem to be very much like us, only nicer. The only trouble is it rains a good deal and the place seems a little empty. You know, you'd think there'd be a few more people about in a capital like this.
Yeah, look at this.
Ah, the dear old pamphlet again. What's it say? The visitor to Helsinki during the summer months will no doubt be surprised to find the streets comparatively empty. This is due to the fact that in the summer, the city dwellers leave for their summer residences close by the lakeside and on the islands. Well, that accounts for the slightly deserted look. Well, what do we do? I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? We look out through the rain streaming down our hotel window. Helsinki is a sort of city to go to for a conference. I wish we had a conference to go to. I feel like a conference this morning. Well, we can have one now. I'm worried about money. Tom Gillingham is always worried about money. He's always saying we'll have to cut the holidays short because we're down the drain. Well, how are we, in or out? We're down the drain. Well, we've been down the drain ever since we came to Scandinavia. Yes, it is expensive. Everything's fairly expensive. And we keep forgetting about the coffee. Well, it's so easy to forget. I mean, after lunch you just say, oh, and some coffee, please. Thank you. And it's £1 a pot. Oh, that's a lot, £1 a pot. Look, we must cut out the coffee. Well, here comes our waiter now, with a great smile all over his handsome face. Stop him. Stop him. Yes, look, no coffee. No coffee. Coffee finish? Coffee finish? Yeah. Finish coffee. Finish coffee. God, he pours it out. Absolutely charming, but you can't stop him. That's another quid's worth. Wherever we go, we're haunted by pound pots of coffee. It takes some time to realize that it's quite impossible to give a negative order and be understood. If you ask for no coffee, well, coffee is the only word they catch at. They think you mean coffee, and you get coffee. If you went into a fur shop and asked for no mink, well, you get mink. As it is, we keep on getting pound pots of coffee, and naturally Tom Gillingham is worried about the money. I think we ought to go up country and lay up for a while. Go up country and lay up for a while? Well, it sounds as though the cops are after us. Well, we must go somewhere a bit cheaper. Well, let's go to the tourist agency and see what they've got. We go out in the rain, through the dripping gardens, past the tumbling fountains, into the tourist bureau. And there we meet the Finnish lady who changed our lives. Now, the Finnish character, as far as we can tell, is a very good character. Absolutely honest, direct, very sincere, and perhaps a trifle blunt. The lady in the tourist bureau was like this. She stood behind the counter, watching us with steady blue eyes as we came slithering in out of the rain. Good morning. Do you speak English? I will do my best for you. Oh, thank you. Well, we were thinking that we might go for a little excursion somewhere. Oh, yes. Where would you like to go? Well, where would you go? I can't go. I have to stay here. You like to see a map? She unfolds a map of Finland. It's a map of road. What's it like here? There's the Finnish letter. That sounds nice. Is it nice? Very nice. What's this for? Can we go to... Yes, by Artic. You go? We go? Yes. 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 We go. She picks up a telephone. She puts it down. You can go. Oh, when? Tonight at 6. Oh, we didn't think we'd work as quick as that. Oh, yes. I suppose we'll see some laps with our reindeer at Romaniavi. Yeah, you're at Romaniavi. Oh. Where? Here, at Ivalo. Gosh, that's miles north. It's nearly at the North Pole. You go? Well, what do you think? We go? Yes. 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 We go. She picks up the telephone. She puts it down. You can go. Oh, yeah, well, that's good. Now, what are we doing? You see, we've got tickets to travel to Oslo and then north through Norway. Shall I cancel them for you? Well, she picks up the phone. I have cancelled them. Have you? Yes. What more can I do for you? Well, I think you've done enough, really. How do we get back from Ivalo? You want to come back? Well, yes. She picks up the telephone. No. She puts it down. You can't come back. We can't come back. No, the airplane is booked for a week coming back. Well, what can we do? You can go on. This is becoming really fascinating. She points us away on the map through Finnish Lapland by a series of buses. Yes, they've got buses up there. And then you can get on a boat and then on a bus and so on into Norway to the North Cape. And then you can come back down quite easily. It's just a couple of thousand miles or something. It's a tremendous itinerary. But she just traces it out for us with a detached ease as though she does it every day. And of course she probably does do it every day. All the Scandinavians are great roamers, campers and canoers. It's ideal country for that sort of thing. To start with, it's free and empty. It's all abristle with pine forests and awash with rivers and lakes. The forests are full of game. The waters full of fish. Well, what more do you want? This is real nature. Free, honest nature. Truth, integrity, by jingo where a chap can be himself. Where the skin turns a handsome brown, the muscles to tough tungsten, and the cold, clear eye accepts the challenge of the distant mountain range with a brave, unshakable will. That's the sort of country. That's the sort of people. That's what they do. We don't. I mean, we do the Exeter bypass on a bank holiday, and that nearly kills us. And so we feel rather anemic and fragile as the lady in the travel bureau hurls us pale and naked into nature. Well, we've done it now. We can't change it back again. All those lovely, comfortable, reserved seats that we've cancelled, how did it happen? We come out of the travel bureau with just one airline ticket each, from Helsinki to to Ivalo in Finnish Lapland. It's a very interesting flight. Finland, from the air, looks like one big bog. Very beautiful from 8,000 feet. It's a wet emerald green with dark fir tree shading around miles and miles of lakes. Black lakes, grey lakes, blue lakes. The pamphlet says there are 60,000 of them. Well, there must be. It looks as though the whole country is practically sunk. You feel that if they landed a large shipload of people by surprise, the whole country would go under. We land at Rovaniemi, the capital of Finnish Lapland. Finnish Lapland was entirely destroyed during the last war by the Germans. Rovaniemi was burnt to the ground. It has since been rebuilt, but it doesn't seem to be anywhere near the airport. The airport is a nice strip of tarmac in the fir trees. That's all. There's no other aircraft except ours to be seen. Listen to what the pamphlet says. It is common for travelers to Rovaniemi to be met on the runways by a herd of reindeer at this Arctic airport. Yes, Arctic airport. Of course, we're in the Arctic Circle. Bit of a nip in the air. No, it was just a bit warm in the airplane, I think. I wonder when we'll be moving on. Excuse me, gentlemen. Oh, it's the pilot. We shall not be leaving for some time. There is very bad weather at Ivalo. Oh. Well, perhaps we can get a cup of... Oh, don't say it. It'll cost a fortune. A cup of... a glass of... Please, over there. There's a neat-looking cafe. We go in. There's a pleasant-looking girl behind the counter. The moment she sees us, she starts smiling and pouring coffee from a large pot. Stop her, quick! We rush over to the counter. Look, no coffee, no coffee. Coffee? No coffee, no coffee. Please, gentlemen, please to take the coffee. It is free. Oh, free. Oh, dear. Sorry. And please to take a sandwich. Free also, with the compliments of the air company. Oh, free. Sorry. It's a nice, open reindeer sandwich. That's what the pamphlet means. Travellers to Rovaniemi are often met by reindeer. It's quite nice, really. It's a bit like smoked bacon. That's if you can be detached enough to think of it as smoked bacon. We can't help thinking that Father Christmas is another one short this year. It's a shame, really, isn't it, Father Christmas?
Well, yes, it's blooming rotten, really. But what can you do? People come up here willy-nilly from all parts of the world. Well, I wouldn't mind if they just took them and kept them as pets, but eating them, that's what they do. Eat them.
Here, what's the matter with me? I'm feeling odd and depressed. What's the time? 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh, that's the reason. I'm coming up to low ebb time, the small hours. Which you wouldn't know, it's as light as lunchtime. There's just a soft, silent depression about the whole place. Just a dozen or so of us sitting upright and still at tables, staring through the window. At the end of the black tarmac, one little airplane, like a discarded toy. And just beyond that, fir trees, fir trees, fir trees. Standing, waiting. I find myself looking sideways round the room, not daring to move my head. The girl with the coffee pot just stands like a figure in Madame Tussauds. Those 4 gentlemen at the next table who look as though they've drunk a glass of glue. They're just like that group in the Wax Museum, Labour Government, 1920-something, Ramsay MacDonald, Philip Snowden and that lot. Look, let's go for a walk, shall we? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We wander down to our deserted airplane. We could pinch it, if we like. Yes. Nobody seems to care. We seem to have drifted into a timeless, lackadaisical, lost world. We climb into the aircraft. It's 1:30. And in the bright daylight, we go to sleep. I don't remember taking off. I remember slowly waking up. We're flying somewhere. The sun shining through the window. We're skimming the tops of the trees, coming into land at Ivalo. The airfield at Ivalo is rather pleasant. It's just a clearing in the fir trees. There must have been a terrific thunderstorm just before we landed here. The whole place is dripping wet, the sun glistening on the pools on the runway, and the smell. The wonderful health smell of pine and resin. Oh, we should have brought a tent and a billy can, a 10-bladed knife and a whistle for calling for help. That's the way to live up here. You feel a fool with a suitcase inside the Arctic Circle. You feel a bigger fool if you've got an unbroken down windmill as well. Tubby, why don't you break down your windmill? It'll go into your case.
Well, I like an unbroken down windmill.
All right. It was then that I saw it. I thought it was a distant aeroplane coming into land. Then I adjusted focus, and it looked like a prawn with wings. Why, it can't be. It's a mosquito, gliding in to touch down on my nose. Listen to him. Look, he's got his legs hanging down, all ready to land. An enormous mosquito. Go on, get out. Get out. Listen. There's another one right by my ear. And another. And another. You've got to keep smacking away at them, but it's a hopeless sort of battle. You see, there are two sorts of Finnish mosquito. The suicide dive bombers and the undercover sneak raiders. And their favorite refueling drinking place is just behind the ear. The dive bombers you hear. Get out, go on. Get out. But the sneakers land down in the small of your back and walk up. And they're all little fairy lightfoots, and you just don't know that they've drilled into you and had a quick half a pint until a sort of knob comes up on your neck and starts screaming to be scratched. You know, I'm getting bitten to bits, are you?
Yes, blessed thing.
Oh, here's the bus. Let's get in out of it.
It's terrible, isn't it? We scramble into the airport bus, and the mosquitoes whine away outside. They obviously get travel sick. And we drive the few miles into Ivalo. Ivalo, like every other place in Finnish Lapland, was completely destroyed during the war, and it's been rebuilt. Obviously, there was no time to make a plan for rebuilding. People had to have somewhere to live at once. And so, Ivalo was cobbled up as quickly as possible with wood. And it's very attractive in a way. Well, perhaps quaint is the word. Well, it's just like one of those small towns you see in Western pictures. Just one wide street. The bus drops us in the middle of it and drives off. Wooden houses and stores either side. A few verandas. And look, a hitching rail for horses. Look, a sort of trading centre. Great bales of reindeer skins stacked on the loading docks. The road, hard pounded earth and gravel, with great ponds dotted over it. There's no one about. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. We walk slowly down the middle of the road, in and out of the ponds. Did you see the 4 strangers arrive in town? Just get off the coach? Yeah? They look kind of lost, eh? We feel kind of lost, too. Look, there's the hotel. It's a good, modern-looking place, but it's shut. Well, what do? Well, we ought never to have come up here. Well, how are we to know?
Yes, how are we to know? Perhaps it'll buck up in a minute.
Buck up in a minute? It can't buck up any more than a corpse can buck up. We sit on our suitcases in the road. Well, I'm rather enjoying this. Enjoying it? Well, yes, it's different. This is much better than sightseeing and clocking in at hotels and having dinner. Well, after all, we really came up here to find the Lapps and their reindeer. We can't expect to do it in comfort. The Lapps and their reindeer. I suppose they're all at sleepy buys now. There's not a sign of a movement from anywhere. The pine trees stand still and stiff. There's not a tremor from the silver birches. And we sit on our suitcases in the road in the Arctic Circle. And we haven't a plan of any sort at all. Not an idea. I suppose tramps feel like this. It's quite nice in a way. You just discard all responsibility. From now on, the world is responsible for you, not you. Makes life a lot easier. What's that? Do you hear anything? Yes. Music. Shh. I almost recognize it. Of course, the sort of music you should hear coming from a forest is this. I'm trying to turn it into that, but I can't, because without a doubt it's the teddy bear's picnic. Where's it coming from? Over there. We walk towards the music. Small wooden building. Up a flight of wooden steps and look through the glass door. It's a saloon or a cafe at least. We try the door. It's open. We go in. There's a strange assortment of people sitting at the tables. A few small children, a few big children, a few in their teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Well, perhaps he hasn't put his teeth in yet. It's only 4:30 in the morning. A few eyebrows lit, a few heads half turned as we sit at a table in the corner. The music is coming from an extraordinary sort of old fretwork loudspeaker. And now that we're close to it, all we can hear are the bass notes. It croaks like an Arctic frog. Anyone care for a slice of reindeer? Pass the time away? No thanks. Perhaps there's something else. Tubby Foster and I go up to the counter to see what's on offer. Well, there's beer, coffee, and hard-boiled eggs. We have 8 hard-boiled eggs and 4 cups of coffee. No, it's all very cheap. And the rest of the cafe sits and sits. That old gentleman on the next table has been sitting with a half a glass of beer for nearly an hour. Well, you honestly can't think of anything else to do. I say, you see that chap at the next table? Yes? I think he's a Lap in mufti. Oh, do you? Why? He's got boots on with turned-up toes. So he has. Then there's a rattle outside the door, and a great muddy bus pulls up. A dozen or so people get up and board the bus. It doesn't waste much time. It splashes off down the road. Tubby Foster's been studying a pamphlet.
Oh, yes, well, that's the 10 to 6 bus to Inari and Karashock. Goes every day.
Well, we've missed it for today.
Yes. Well, I'm going to have a bit of a snooze.
It's quite interesting the way he goes to sleep. He just takes the box with the unbroken down windmill, puts it on the table, and lays his head on it. Looks as though he's waiting to be guillotined. I wish I hadn't broken down my windmill. He looks quite comfortable. And we just sit and sit. It's incredible. You soon master the art of sitting. The first 3 hours are a bit sticky, but after that, your body goes numb and your brain cells clot together. And you sit there like a sea anemone, swaying slightly. If anyone touched you, you'd wince perhaps, but you can't possibly move across the seabed, cafe floor. And then I noticed the door of the hotel opposite is open. Yeah, the hotel's open. Come on. We jump the ponds in the road and bundle into the hotel. There are about 20 tourists leaving. What's the time? 8:30. I'm losing all sense of time. Their coach has just pulled up outside. Oh, we'll get a room here for tonight, all right. What? There's no room. There's another coach coming in at 7 this evening. Ah. Well, I don't fancy sitting up with the teddy bears picnic again much. And then it occurs to us. Look, if the other coach and tourists don't come in until 7 tonight, it's now 8:45 in the morning. Couldn't we have 4 rooms from, say, 9 till 6? That's 9 hours. Certainly. Help yourself. It's the same price as staying overnight, staying over day. Funny, you don't expect it to be as much. I don't know why, but night seems more expensive than day. Still, they're very nice rooms, with very nice beds. Oh, it will be nice to lie down, really lie down. What's the matter with your head? It's all on one side.
I don't know, I can't get it straight.
Well, that's what comes of sleeping on unbroken windmills.
Yes, it was worth it, though. Well, good night. Or rather, day.
Good day. I lie in bed. I'll soon be asleep now. Absolutely dog-tired. I can hear Jack Leverett singing in the next room. He always sings just before going to bed. I wandered alone in a strange land, and life seemed so dark and drear. This is the sort of situation he loves. I wandered alone in a strange land. What's that? Oh, a dog tied up right outside the window. Tomorrow we must really plan something sensible. This is no good wandering in a strange land. I can see that you could easily become nomadic, grow a beard, and have turned up clothes in no time in this sort of country. We'll get the first bus out tomorrow. No. We'll seriously go out and look for some Lapps and reindeer. That's it. Lapps and their reindeer. Lapps and their reindeer. There's rain in your lap there, in a strange land. It was a nice sleep, and we leave the hotel at 6 o'clock that night. Night, yes. And we walk down the main streets of Vivalo. Well, what are we going to do? I don't know. Nor me. Look, there's a shabby marquee on the one side of the road and another one on the other. They're both opening up. One is a rifle range and the other a mission tent. Well, there's great possibilities of a jolly evening here. We sit on our suitcases at the side of the road, and we haven't a plan of any sort. Not an idea. Fancy leaving Copenhagen, Stockholm and Helsinki and coming up here to sit on suitcases on the side of the road in the Arctic Circle. We must be nuts. But then the tourist very often does some very silly things. Oh, very silly things.